Hello everyone, this is the Lego Detective, and today we're going to be doing another Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be a character deck. So, yeah, I'm really excited for this. And, yeah, let's get started on the monsters. So, I'm playing each of the pieces of Exodia because this is technically Yugi's grandpa's deck, so he did have these pieces in it. But then shortly after he beat Kaiba, he got the videotape from Pegasus. And so what Pegasus did is he, of course, captured Yugi's grandpa, but he also gave him a set of these. Set Sail for the Kingdom, a Duelist Kingdom, Glory of the King's Hand. There were also two other ones. The other main one that you saw a lot was Glory of the King's Opposite Hand, which was just blank. It was this, but just blank. And it was where Pegasus would capture someone's soul after he beat them in a duel. And there was another one too. It had a picture of the dueling gauntlet or dueling glove or whatever that would explain how the star chips works. But you only saw that in like the second and third episode, I think, were the only two episodes when you actually saw that card. But you saw these later on a lot too. So yeah, these cannot be used in a duel. But I still like to use them as tokens sometimes when I duel with my brother. But now let's get on to the normal monsters. Let's just move these over to the side. And, of course, let's get started. Yugi's ace monster is the Dark Magician. Of course, you can't have a Yugi deck without the Dark Magician. One of Yugi's favorite cards, and a pretty powerful monster. Especially since, before Tribute Summons came along, this was pretty good. Next, we run one guy, the Fierce Knight. And to go with him, Curse the Dragon. Next we run Summon Skull, which I think that it's a really good monster because it's 2500 attack and level 6, so only one tribute. Next we have Giant Soldier of Stone. Of course, you're going to want to put that in defense position. Just a really nice card. You could use it a lot because he had 2000 defense, so that was really good, especially since there was no attacking life points directly. And if you could put, back in the day, even though I wasn't there, but I know the older rules, you were allowed to put monsters in defense position, face-up defense position. Next, we have Griffor, which I can remember he used that against Weevil in the first duel of Duelist Kingdom. Winged Dragon, Guardian of the Fortress #1. Beaver Warrior. Feral Imp. Mystical Elf, another high defense monster. But Giant Soldier of Stone is better, because if you see... Mystical Elf has an attack power of 800, while Giant Soldier of Stone has 1,300, so he was a better monster. Celtic Guardian. Whoopsies. Mammoth Graveyard. And now we get into our effect monsters, of course, Kuribo and Catapult Turtle. And that is our monster count. Oh. Okay. So now, I don't know how many monsters that is, but that's a thick amount of monsters. But it's a good amount of monsters. There are a lot of good level 4s in there. And level 5s too. But now we get to... So those are the normal monsters. Next, we have the two ritual monsters he used. Blackluster Soldier and Magician of Black Chaos. These two were used only in the finals. He never used them any other time in Duelist Network. Duelist Kingdom. I just played Duelist Network. And of course we have the Blackluster Ritual and Black Magic Ritual to go with them. So that's cool. Let me just put these with the rest of the monsters. Oops. Mystical Elf is kind of coming out of this. Sorry about that. Okay. So we have those. Next we have some equipped cards, Horn of the Unicorn and Mystical Moon. And I swear that in the show, Mystical Moon wasn't an equipped card, but a field card. or something like that, that increased all the attack of like water monsters by a certain amount of points. Because when he put that on the field, Mako's water monsters, their attack was getting better, and Yugi's monsters were losing their attack points, I believe, at least. Next we have Spell Shattering Arrow, which was a really nice card. Good for damage, especially since there was no attacking life points directly. There was only, you had to destroy the monsters. And that's why Blue Eyes was one of the best cards back then. Because if you didn't have fusion cards at least. Next we have Mystic Box, Rain Control, Monster Recovery, Maku the Magical Mist to go with Summon Skull. He actually didn't use this in the first season, but he did. It was in his deck. He used it against Bandit Keith when he was possessed by Merrick in Season 2. Of course, we have Polymerization. Next, we have Burning Land. Of course, Pot of Greed. Next, we have Dark Hole. Swords of Revealing Light, of course, one of his classic cards. Multiply. Detonate. And finally, Monster Reborn. You can't forget Monster Reborn. Or as in the show, they would say, Reborn the Monster! I guess. Now for traps, we have Spellbinding Circle, Mirror Force, the Eye of Truth, Shift, and Magical Hats to go with that Dark Magician. And during character deck duels, what I like to do is, I have an effect where the trap cards, if they are attacked, they actually activate. So that's kind of how I like to play it. I can't remember when he used the Eye of Truth, but I don't know. It's a kind of bad card. So yeah, those are our traps. So I believe that this card is about 45 or so cards. There are some cards that I am missing from this deck. I am missing Soul Exchange, D-Spell, Silver Fang, and then there's like one or two others. But now let's get to the extra deck. Oh wait, first things first. Time Wizard, if you wanted to include it in this, I guess that you technically could. If you want to include Dark Sage, you don't have to include Dark Sage, but if you do, you're going to want to include Time Wizard because, like, yeah. Next we have Guy the Dragon Champion, and you could add in Black Skull Dragon, because technically he did have it, but in the Duelist Kingdom, they didn't really fuse with the fusion cards. They just fused it. So you don't really have to have that unless you decide to run a Red Eyes in here all of a sudden. And then, of course, we're going to have our 2 Kuribo tokens for our multiply. And since this is Yugi's deck, I run the Yugi token for it as well. So yeah, guys, I hope that you like this Duelist Kingdom Yugi deck profile. And yeah, bye.